Okay, so what I'm going to do is just quickly go through how do we navigate Revit. Opening up a software for the very first time is a little daunting, just because there's a whole lot of stuff going on and you have no idea what any of it is. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through a very generalization of what is what. Okay, so you opened up Revit, and this is going to be your home screen. Um, what you're going to end up seeing here is we have families and models. Now, I briefly talked about families. These are just kind of pre-made three-dimensional objects, doors, windows, tables, chairs, things like that, okay? This is a little bit more on the advanced side, not too advanced, but we'll get there, just not yet. Up here in the models tab, this is where you're going to begin to see, as we begin to save more and more files, you're going to begin to see your saved files here. Okay, so instead of having to click on open and locate the files, Revit actually saves or creates a link for the last 5 files that you have saved. So you actually don't have to go over here. You could just click on the most recently saved file right here. Okay, if you want to open up an older file, then that's when we would come over here to the open. And notice that we're in the models tab, right? If we wanted to open up doors, windows, these families, then we would come down here. But for now, let's stay in our lane and we're going to go ahead and just stick with models. But let's say we haven't opened anything yet. We haven't created anything yet. Then we're going to go ahead and go to new. So we're going to click on new, and it's going to ask me to select a template file. Revit is a very powerful software, and it can do a lot, and it could handle multiple kind of disciplinaries. So engineers can use it, mechanical engineers, structural engineers, architects, civil engineers can use this software. Now, if you're doing an architectural project, there's no reason why you would really need your civil engineering tools, right? Or your structural engineering, or as many as those the software holds. Now, so the software has all that. We just don't need it. So what Revit has done is that it's kind of compiled the most critical, the crucial, the most common tools, the tools that it thinks that you're going to need for a set project, right? And so it creates this template for you. And the reason why it does that is because Revit is also very heavy software. So if it was to give you all of the commands and all of the options, then the file itself is going to be massive. So instead, as a way to kind of minimize your file size, it's kind of compartmentalized the most critical tools, the most crucial tools that you're going to need to complete your project. So moving forward, all of the tutorials that I'm going to be doing are going to be using the residential template file. Now, if we click on the pull down, it really only has 2 general templates, the imperial and the metric. What we're going to do is click on browse. And in browse, we have a couple more template files, okay? We're going to come down to residential default, and that's the one we're going to use. Now, if we were much more advanced, you could obviously create your own templates and add whatever information, whichever tools that you need, but we're going to just stick with residential. So I'm going to click open. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, make sure that it's project, because we don't want to create a project template. This is if we wanted to create our own template. So we're going to make sure that project is selected, and then I'm going to hit OK. And then this is what Revit looks like, okay? This right here is our working area. Now, recently Revit turned the working area into a black screen, which mimics AutoCAD, which is another Autodesk software. Before, it used to be white. So if you go onto YouTube or if you find other tutorials, a lot of the previous Revit tutorials are going to be a white background. So don't freak out if you go looking for other tutorials and you have a white background and yours is black, and then automatically you start thinking, well, wait, something's wrong here. It's not. It's just the new interface that Revit, the new change that Revit has done. Okay, so this is our working area. Now, up at the top, we'll kind of move top all the way down. Up at the top, this is known as our quick access toolbar. This is the most common tools that you're going to need. So instead of having to navigate through all of this, you can quickly just click on some of these commands. So obviously we need to be able to open and save, be able to print. You want to measure something, you want dimensions, annotations, notes, three-dimensional, go to your 3D view, sections, and thin lines. Okay? Then down below, we have our ribbon window, and this is going to really be the place that you're going to be navigating through your commands the most. Okay. Now, if you're familiar with AutoCAD, AutoCAD is a command-based software, meaning there's a command bar, and you type in a command like draw me a line or polyline or so on, trim. Revit is not a command-based software. Revit is an icon-based software. That means that we go hunting for the commands, okay? And we go hunting in the ribbon window. There's three parts to the ribbon window. We have our tabs. So here we have the architecture tab, structure, systems, annotate, view, manage, right? These are the different tabs. And in each tab, we have different commands, okay? The commands are broken up into panels. So you see that there's a line there and there. And so everything inside here is under the build panel. We have the circulation panel, the model panel, okay? And in the panel, we have the actual commands. Now, some of these commands have little kind of triangles, okay? So if we click on the little triangle, there's a pull down and it gives us additional commands, okay? Kind of like a subcategory of commands, okay? So often you're going to hear me say, okay, let's go over to the architecture tab in the build panel. Let's click on the pull down for roof and let's select roof by footprint. Okay, so that's how we kind of navigate through the software. Now, what's really great about the ribbon window is that if there's a command and you're not sure what exactly it does, if you place your cursor over it, give it a second, it'll pop up and give you a brief description. Okay? And some of them, not all of them, I can't remember which ones off the top of my head, some of them will give you an actual video demonstration. All right. If you want more information, though, you can press F1 on the keyboard and it'll direct you to the Revit website that'll give you a full breakdown of what this one command does. So if you're not sure what a command does, just place your cursor over it and wait for the little pop out. Okay. We're going to jump all the way down here, and this is your view control bar. So this is your working area, right? The working area, a lot of the commands or a lot of the visibility of what we see here can be controlled in the view control bar down here, okay? Now, as we move forward, you're going to see me clicking down here more, and you're going to see me clicking up here. And as we're doing that, you're going to see, I don't want to spend all this time saying what each one of these does. That's going to take a whole lot of time. And the reality is you're probably going to forget all of it. So it's better to just kind of explain it as we start using it. Okay. But really quickly, this is where you can change the scale. Right now, as we're getting started, don't worry about the scale. It doesn't really matter just yet. It really comes into play once we start adding annotations, dimensions, text, things like that. Okay. What I do want, there's two buttons. There's two buttons that I want you to click and just make sure they're always turned on. And the first one is this one right here. So you could go ahead and do that right now. We'll go ahead and click. By default, this is set to coarse, okay? And what we want to do is set to fine. And what this does is it gives us a fine level of detail in our drawing. Now, Revit can be used to model these massive complexes. So like imagine a 10-story building or a master complex with 10 buildings on there, right? Sometimes you don't want to see all of that detail. And the reason why is because it'll slow down. More detail requires more hardware, stronger hardware on your computer, and it'll slow down your computer, right? So by default, it's set to coarse. However, for these tutorials, we're going to be working small scale, like 1 to 2 story houses, right? For the most part, which is not big in the realm of construction, in the realm of buildings. And when we're getting started, it's really important to be able to understand all of the key components and all the details. So we're going to go ahead and just set this to fine. Okay. Now, once you set it, it typically saves it, but it only saves it in this one view. Right now, we're in the first floor view. We'll talk about the different views right now. So as we move and toggle through different views, we're going to have to go in and set it to fine. Okay. So just get in the habit of doing that. And when you open up a page, just come down here and make sure it's set to fine. The other button I want you to click is this one right up at the top, the one that has 3 lines, and this says thin lines. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn that on. What this does, it's very similar to the fine. What this does is it toggles between very thick lines to very thin lines. So when we're adding the detail, like you could even see in the, look, there's one of the little animations. When we're looking for detail, the thicker lines kind of get in the way and it muddles a lot of the line work. And so when you start clicking, you're not sure exactly what you're clicking on because the line is too thick. So it's better to work in thin lines. It's better to work in thin lines so we know what we're clicking on. So let's just go ahead and set that. The thick lines, right, if we turn it off, the thicker lines is actually the line weight that is going to print. And if you know a little bit about construction drawings, line weight is important. You need a heavy line, a medium line, a light line. So it's important to kind of see the different line weights, but we're not there yet either. And right now we really want to understand all of the little components as we're modeling. So let's make sure that this is always turned on. Once you set this, it should save it. So as long as you don't come back up and turn it on, when you open up Revit again, it should be on. Okay. On the left here are your 2 kind of most important boxes, which is why by default they're already set here. One is the properties box and the other one is the project browser. So the property box gives us information of whatever it is we're doing in the working area. So right now, I don't have anything in the working area, so it gives me general information. So here I could change the scale, which I could also do right there. I could change display modes. There's general visibility graphics, different kind of small adjustments and changes that we can do to our working area. However, when I start and click on a command, so let me go ahead and click on wall, you'll notice that the properties now change because the properties are related to the object that or the thing that I'm doing in here. So my properties have now changed. So if I go ahead and click on a wall or create a wall, okay, hit enter to finish, hit escape to get back to the little arrow. And now, because I don't have anything selected, I go back, the properties box goes back to my working area properties. But once I click on the wall, okay, once I click on the wall, then the property box goes back. Okay. So moving on really quickly, if by any chance you created that wall and you already got stuck and you're not sure how to finish this, hit enter spacebar. Oh no, hit enter, and then hit the escape key. The escape key is going to be your favorite command or your favorite button, just because it's like your default. It takes you all the way back to your default settings. So if you keep hitting escape, depending on what you're doing and the commands that you're in, you might have to hit it 1 or 2 times to get out. But hitting escape, and when you're stuck, just hit escape, and it'll take you back to kind of the home settings. Okay. Now, project browser. Think of the project browser as kind of your navigation through the different drawings that you're creating. Now that seems a bit odd, right? Let me explain that a little bit. Revit is a 3D modeling software. However, we mostly just work 2-dimensionally. Notice that right now I created a wall and it gave it to me in a 2-dimensional drawing. Okay, and that's kind of tricky at first. Other softwares like Revit, SketchUp, those you work and you model in a 3D view. In Revit, we actually model in a 2D view. So we always have to be aware that even though this is a 2-dimensional drawing, let's go ahead and go up to this little house. This is a 3D view. Let me go ahead and left click. Even though it's just a 2D drawing, it actually has 3 dimensions. Okay, so you could actually see that there's a height to it. But we typically don't work in the 3D view. We can use the 3D view to kind of look inside and help us to understand what's happening. But most of the work is going to be done in 2D. Okay. Additionally, what we're modeling here is pretty much our drawing area. And ultimately, what we're doing here is the final goal isn't to create a 3D model, it's to create construction drawings. Okay, construction drawings that are going to be printed and submitted, or printed and shown, or printed in something, right? This is your printed kind of area. Okay, think of it as that way. So we are working on our sheet of paper in our first floor 2D drawing. Okay, so going back to the project browser, these are all of our sheets. These are all of our project sheets. So if I want to go to, let's say, my second floor, right? These walls span up to, I believe, third floor or so on. So that's why we're seeing our second floor. So you'll notice that our walls are also being shown on the second floor because they're in our second floor, right? So the project browser is already kind of default drawing sheets. We have our elevations here, we have ceiling plans, we have reflective ceiling plans, we have site plans, we have footing plans, foundation plans, and so on and so on. The one thing that it doesn't have is sections, and that's because we haven't created any sections. But the minute we create a section, now let's escape, let's scroll down here, we now have building sections, right? And so now I can double click on that section head, and now I have a section. Isn't that kind of cool? By clicking and creating 2 walls, we have our first floor drawing done, second floor drawing done, section drawing done. We have our elevations done, right? And so that's the beauty of Revit, okay? Is that it already generates all of these drawings for us. As we're modeling, it's generating these drawings, and those drawings you navigate through the project browser. Now, what you'll also have noticed is right up here, we have our tabs, our different drawings. So instead of having to go here every single time, you could also come over here, okay? Second floor, north. I personally still use the project browser because if I need to go to, say, second floor, I know exactly where it's at. It's under floor plans, and I just come and look for it over here. Sometimes I have a ton of windows, a ton of tabs open, and if I try looking for second floor, I'm just kind of like, nope, 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 right? So whatever works for you, and as you kind of begin to model, you'll find the system that works best for you, and that's okay. That's the point of learning the software and using the software. It's not about how I do it. It's about what feels comfortable for you and what makes you the most efficient at this. Okay. So we have property box and project browser. If by any chance you accidentally close one of these, all you have to do is right click anywhere inside. No, right click in any of the work area. And we have right here, project browser. And it'll pop right up. Okay, so all you have to do is just right click anywhere in the working area and it'll pop back up. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's the general layout of this software. Okay. Good luck, everyone.